Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome back, or welcome to The Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky, and I'm a psychic medium, and I'm talking today about death and grief. Big topic. And as always, you take what resonates and you leave the rest here. Now, I spend so much time working with dead people, and I spend so much time working with living people. In my one-on-one sessions, one thing that comes up quite a bit is grief. Living people struggle with going forward in the physical world without their loved ones. And dead people have a different perspective. They always say, but I'm right here. And I want a relationship with you. And I still want to continue growing our relationship. Grief has a very similar vibration. It is an element of love. And when you think about your relationships with people who have passed, the deeper the relationship or the more that you love them, that kind of sets the tone on the element of grief that you're feeling. And I truly do believe that, yes, when we go through grief, it may get a little easier as we go through it, but we always will miss that physical side to people of having them here. However, dead people say, if you can learn to embrace the fact that I'm still here and continue to grow a different kind of relationship, that love and expansion that's between you and the person that's passed, it just continues in such a glorious, magical way. And it does shift us out of that heavy feeling of lack of. Part of grief is the lack of having somebody physically with you. And when we can shift into a little bit that they are with us and we can have relationships, and yes, it's going to be very different than when they were physically here, but the lack of them being gone softens because they truly are not gone. Talking to them, honoring them, celebrating them, taking them with you when you go places. And sometimes, some people say it really helps to bring their picture with me, or bring a physical item, or having their ashes in a necklace. Sometimes having a physical thing to touch does help. But what also really helps is feeling their connection to you, feeling how they loved you. Dead people want us happy, and they say it all the time. We want you to live your life. We want you to learn your lessons. We're going to do it with you. We're still here. Your happiness is important to me when I was living, and it's important to me now that I'm gone. The other thing that comes up quite a bit regarding death is we're afraid to talk about it. Sometimes, some people, we're afraid to talk about what our wishes are. We're afraid to talk about what are those spirit signs that you want to leave me. And I do spend time with dying clients, bringing together families to have these difficult discussions. Death is something that we kind of avoid talking about when it should be something that we embrace. We're all here to have an experience in the physical world, and we're all going to leave. It's guaranteed. It's just a matter of when and how long some of us have. Some of us are here for 100 years, and some of us are here for minutes. It's about having those conversations, and it's about saying the things that we need to say. And quite often, part of our grieving is we may not have healed. We may not have, said what we needed to say, or we shared how we felt. Now, yes, you can do that when people have passed. And sometimes some relationships with people who have passed can be a little bit easier than what it was when they were living. There may have been things you just couldn't say to each other. That was part of your learning. There were things that you may not have been able to heal. That was part of your learning. There may have been things that you couldn't forgive. It was part of your learning. And you can still have that opportunity. You can still have conversations with them. I forgive you. I'm sorry. I love you. I never got to really say that, and feel it back. And dead people send those feelings back too. And quite often we receive them with a thought. All of a sudden they're on your mind. Why are they on your mind? What does it feel like? I'm feeling love, or I'm feeling forgiveness. How do you feel when you have them on your mind? It's all energy. They use energy. We receive energy, and we send out energy. The other thing is when it comes to death, somehow, not for all, but for a lot of us, it's just been something that we've avoided our entire journey. And when you think about ancient times, how ancient people viewed death, it was embraced. They celebrate the dead in profound ways. They were worshipped. Dead people were often worshipped, and they had this connection in ancient times to the spirit dimensions. And many of us do in today's times as well. Absolutely, many of us do. But in ancient times, I think that they were a little bit more open in the discussion on what they wanted done with their bodies, and it was just part of conversation. Birth, death, and everything in between. Spirit leaves us so many signs, and I have talked about them before. Some common ones: nickels, dimes, pennies, birds, feathers, music, lights flickering. But they also connect sometimes with things that were important to them in the physical world that you might recognize. Smells. There's their song on the radio. Just little subtle things. They will leave signs so that you can connect them. And the thing is sometimes we may not always see them, but we can tap into feeling them, because dead people are an energy and they have a feeling, and they feel very much the same as they felt when they were here. That love that you felt from them when they were here. A few more spirit signs. Butterflies are a big one. So, something that's hummingbirds. It can be their favorite bird, that you may see. And I think part of not overthinking the sign is huge as well. Some people will say, well, it's just a butterfly. Yeah, it's just a butterfly, but it's also a spirit sign. It's also a big spirit sign that your loved one is near. And I think, I think when we kind of tap in and trust is a big one. Trust is so huge when it comes to spirit and spirit dimensions, and being able to really lean into that. And spirit always says, Lana, tell them, I never left them in the physical world. I was there for them the entire journey, supporting them, cheering them on, working on our relationship. I'm still here in the spirit dimensions, and I want the same thing. I still want to cheer them on, help them, leave them signs. I want you happy. I want you to live. These are the things that spirits say to me pretty much every single reading. Perhaps in different words, but pretty much the same. I want you to be happy because I still love you. They do understand our grief, but because they do understand how much we love them, but they also really want us to go forward, pushing us forward. And staying in the vibration of I'm not gone, and growing that relationship. I've got my own dead people upstairs that I love very, very much. And, the relationships that I have with them in the spirit dimensions, they're very different than what they were in the physical world. But they've grown at such profound levels. I do hope I was able to give you a little bit of guidance, perhaps some tips on connecting with loved ones, or working through your grief. I am wishing you so much love, light, blessings, and a spirit-guided day.